we'll do Shirley the Presence.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, Jesus Christ is born. Shepherds keep him watching, o'er silent flocks by night. Behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled, well low above the earth. Rang out the angels' chorus that hails our Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, Jesus Christ is born. In the lonely manger, the humble Christ was born. And God sent us salvation that blessed this Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, Jesus Christ is born. Jesus Christ is born.
Thank you, Barbara. Wonderful opening. And for all of you who are at home this morning, we welcome you. It's pretty foggy here in Dover, New Hampshire, and there's a limited crowd here, but we welcome you all, and we hope that you get a lot out of this service. We have in Unity a daily reading, and I'd like to share today's daily reading, which is on peace. Some of you may be not in a peaceful situation, but hopefully these words of peace will help you. Peace is the song of my heart. As the Advent journey continues, I seek to embody peace. No matter what might be happening around me, I can rise above that which troubles and distracts me and all that takes my attention away from my spiritual life and my relationship with God. Peace is always mine, an aspect of my divine identity. When peace feels far away, I take it as a cue to center myself in spirit. I return to the practices that calm my mind and open my heart. As I relax and enter the silence, I touch the peace of perfection of God and claim that peace is my own. Returning to activity, I carry peace with me. I bring harmony to my interactions, calm to my reactions, and tranquility to every corner of my life. I won't just be peaceful, I will be peace itself. So I wish you all who are listening and those here peace and peace within you. And that comes from a verse in the Bible, Jude chapter 1, verse 2, I believe it is. It's, may mercy, peace, and love be yours in abundance. And it is so. And it is so. Peace is the song in my heart, or the song of my heart. At this time, we're going to read our mission statement together. We'll have that up on our slide. And it goes like this. We all set?
We are a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living.
Awaken oneness at God within us all. Okay. Always welcome. It's always nice to know that Unity of the Seacoast here has many opportunities for us to gather. The first being that on the first Monday of the month at 7 p.m., Charlie Richard conducts a meditation. And that happens the first Monday of each month at 7 p.m. So you want to tune in, you just Google Unity of the Seacoast here in Dover, New Hampshire. You'll eventually pick up some of the happenings that here. And Charlie's meditation is certainly one that is popular and meaningful. We have also been broadcasting live to YouTube on our YouTube channel. Just type in Unity of the Seacoast and YouTube will search button. But even easier is just go to our webpage at unityoftheseacoast.org and scroll down until you see the links to bring you to our live services and even past services. All our talks are archived and they appear there, and it's something you want to look back on or reflect on, it's there. Welcome. We also have a donate button. If it moves you to support our ministry, and we try to reach people at home and people here in the Dover area. If it reaches you, we'd like to hear from you. Our donate button is at our website, and it's called Tithely. You just click on it, and it'll take you to a place in which you can make your tithe to help our ministry stay with you. If you prefer to mail your donation to Unity of the Seacoast, the address is Unity of the Seacoast, McConnell Center. That's suite number 246, 61 Locust Street, Dover, New Hampshire. And that address will appear on our website as well, so you can double check that. And some other things that happen in Unity of the Seacoast is our meetup groups. they're so called. They have a lot of different events, and you can also access this on our webpage as well. We'd like to have you know that the Unity of the Seacoast is not just a Sunday, but it's also activities during the week. Join us for our poetry group, Poets in Unity. We want to thank Shane Moran for hosting this. It's on the third Saturday of each month. And our next one is December the 16th, which is coming up. Also, we feature a game night. It's an opportunity for families to come with their children to play some board games and get to know each other. That's on the third Friday of each month at 6:30. All are welcome. So it's a time to get together, get to know each other, and introduce unity in the sense to children. Children love games, and please bring them along. You don't have to be a member either of Unity, just a person or a family that wants to get out and enjoy this game night. So that's the third Friday of each month. We also have Course of Miracles, but it's on hold for a month or so as we sort out the best time and a couple of other details regarding the Course of Miracles. But that's another opportunity to learn about spirituality and learn about the aspects that we all are looking for within us. So more on that later, but keep that in mind that we do have that program. As you know, it's coming up for our Christmas time, and we will also have our Christmas Carol sing-along, and that'll be on Friday, the 22nd of December at 6:30 p.m. right here at Unity of the Seacoast. An opportunity, again, for your family to come. Children are invited, adults are invited, and a good time is had by all in the spirit of Christmas. At this time, we're going to do our namaste.
Frank, can I just say something real quick?
Sure.
I just wanted to thank everybody for donating to the children's Operation Santa Claus, and I brought 2 55-gallon bags, chock full of presents there. And in the place where I brought it, there were probably 1,000 bags like that. And that was just one place. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. Thank you.
That's one thing that you can count on in terms of Unity of the Seacoast. We're reaching out to the community members. We're reaching out to anybody and everybody that's listening to us and can see us. We are a ministry that has no boundary. So at this time, we'd like to do our Namaste greeting. It's a Sanskrit way of greeting each other and letting each other know that we see the Christ in you, we see the good in you, we see that which is possible within you, and we share that together. So at this time, let's all stand and greet each other. Namaste. 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 Okay, at this time we're going to hear from Barbara, right, in our choir again?
Yes.
All right, let's have a warm welcome for our choir and Barbara.
heavens rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, rich with healing in his wings. While he laid his glory by, born the man no more may die. Born to raise the son of earth, born to give a second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Rachel. And thank you, Barbara, as always. Barbara's been with us for a long time and enjoy her skill of bringing us together in song. At this time, it's time to introduce our speaker. And I find him as a student of unity principles, to be honest. Also, he's a student of the metaphysical interpretation of the Fillmore Study Bible, the New Testament. He's also a contributor to that very important work. He's also overcome life's obstacles with the power of faith. And personally, I have found him to be a compassionate, exemplary listener while ministering to his flock here at Unity of the Seacoast. He's very accessible. His talk today is entitled, Being a Seeker During the Christmas Season. Would you please welcome Tom Scheinler.
Morning, everyone. First, thank you, choir. Great choice of songs. Casey thought of Charlie Brown. When I heard it, I thought of It's a Wonderful Life. So, before I start, I don't know if it went through because Casey didn't have a microphone. The Operation Santa, she brought 2 huge bags, and there was like 1,000 bags there. So people all over our state are doing wonderful things, and you guys contribute to that. So thank you so much. Also, I had mentioned over the past couple of weeks, blessing bags. We have 10 left. I didn't want to come up with a charity and then make not a charity, but a need, and make a burden for anyone. So I've made 12. We've already given out 2. But if you'd like to take one, keep it in your car. And if you see someone in need, just hand them it. It has gloves, scarves, hat, some food, some cash. Or if you need the cash or you need it for yourself, take it home. It's not restricted to people who are living outside. It's just anywhere that it's needed. We do try, as Ernie said, to make our imprint for good in the community. And there's an important reason for that, because it brings us in touch with living in the moment. You have to be in the moment when you're helping others. You have to pay attention. And that's kind of where this talk starts. It's called Being a Seeker During the Christmas Season. Being a seeker means you're always asking questions. This is a time of Jesus' life when it's the birth of him beginning to ask questions, experiencing life. And I'm not sure if religion should say that they have the answers, because my answers may not work for you, but we may have the same questions. You should have questions of yourself and for yourself about the world in which you live. And you need to come up with your own answers. And that's how we grow as a community, by each person examining yourself, what you're seeking, and then contributing that into the pool of knowledge, the common thread. Because again, that's how we expand. It was Jesus asking questions during all those years that we knew little about him that got him to the point that he was the way shower. And as much as he's the way shower, it's your individual take on his life and his mission that expands it for all of us. In the same way his asking questions expanded the world. At some point in our existence, our mind becomes restless. We begin to search for something that fills us. For some of it manifests in certain ways, like historical knowledge, some musical, some visual arts, or others in nature. Some become immersed in the mechanical aspects of life. Some study science. Any interest there are people who are seekers of this type of knowledge. At Unity, we're seekers of a spiritual connection. We search for why we are here and what is our purpose. And what's the meaning of it all? I think most of us have stared into the stars at one point at night and wondered about our existence and all this great thing and how we're connected to all that is. Some of us search so hard that we're actually defined by our search, and others do it more casually. But when things in life don't add up, we began to search for answers. Staring at the stars, all the stuff that stars are made of, we are made of that too. Some of it's so small that it passes right through our body. But we are part of nature. We are nature. And during the Christmas season, it's kind of fitting that they had to follow a star to find Jesus, because we are all connected in that. They too were seeking something that's greater than themselves, and they did it by staring at the star. Once we begin our journey, we do not stop until we start discovering meanings, and we start to feel our connection with God so deep that it begins to shape our being. The other closest thing I have to compare to that, something so deep that shaped my being, was when I became a parent. There's a connection that goes out to the world, not just to your kids. People always knew me as Tom or Bo's parent, son me's parent. I lost my identity as Tom. But it was a great thing, because you're seeking something greater. You're seeking that connection. There's a completeness in the same way that you do when you're seeking spiritual connection. I talk about we're co-creators of God and our evolution. We as seekers try to evolve in our understanding. The material world becomes less important. It doesn't fill us. It becomes knowledge. We need knowledge and happiness and meaning and understanding. And we try to conceive a God of our own understanding. This is also important because when we come up with a God of our own understanding, again, it goes into the collective pool and we expand everyone else's idea of what God is. And we build trust, and we build trust in our own judgment. What I talk about each week should inspire you to think and to understand, but on your own, to seek knowledge that fills you. I'm only a facilitator in this search. Maybe you're inspired to read a new book or take a yoga class, to hear a lecture or to meditate. Maybe you'll pray more, join a discussion group, or maybe it's a combination of all these things. Because what I'm talking about is self-discovery. Your journey, maybe it's a lifelong journey, or maybe it's something that's more recent. Maybe it's triggered by a life event, not feeling fulfilled somewhere in your life or in a previous path. Maybe it was a trauma or illness. Maybe it was years of depression or addiction. Or maybe your life has just been perfect and you're just trying to understand why and how this flows to you. But it's self-discovery. And at Unity, we do it through the teachings of Jesus. But whatever way you choose is the right way for you. I hope you guys understand this. I once read an article calling Unity a cult. And it made me laugh because we're the exact opposite of a cult. What cult begins with, I don't want you to believe like me, or whatever you believe is the way that you should choose? Because we have this wonderful gift of freedom of choice. And why would you ever deny it when it comes to personal self discovery? Seekers are free thinkers. In a sense, there's a compassion that comes across when someone is open to new concepts and ideas. I'd like to say we don't judge, but perhaps we judge less. We try to accept others for the life that they choose, and at the same time, we hope everyone strives for their own perfection, their own greatest potential. Again, at Unity, we follow the examples of Jesus, perhaps because he lives a life that seekers try to attain. Jesus also is not the first person people think of when they think of seekers, because his image comes with generational baggage. His image comes with doctrine and rules that we were taught. And for some, there's nothing wrong with that. But for others, it's a difficult thing when you're a seeker to come to someone who has all these rules as baggage. And the thing is, when you get to let go of the baggage, you build up a new admiration because those things do not up, and it shouldn't add up. How does a free thinker adhere to a prescribed way of belief by other people? But instead of turning away, we look at Jesus through a new lens, and something begins to make sense in our lives. And this, I find that concept amazing. Like, I don't care what you're looking for. If it doesn't add up, it doesn't add up. This includes what I say as well. But do you believe that Peter stood on the water and began to sink when fear entered his mind? Or is there another way of looking at it? Yet in that same story, do you believe that Peter, a fisherman who owned a boat, could hold the boat steady so Jesus can speak from it? To me, that's plausible. We get to pick and choose our lessons, and sometimes part of the lesson is not suspending what you know as the truth. Peter probably did not stand on the water. Probably is symbolic of faith. We are lifted by faith, and when we lose faith, we get that sinking feeling. But we don't have to suspend logic when we think Peter probably rowed a boat well and was able to hold it in position so Jesus can talk. So we look at the lessons. What's he talking about? Well, Jesus picks people for their own gifts, their own uniqueness. Go inside yourself. This is a common lesson that Jesus teaches. Look inside first. And we each have gifts that are unique to us. And we can comfortably do this, and we begin to understand that Jesus as a way shower. And it's something there that seekers can hang their hat on. For some, he may have many of the answers. For some, he's just a piece of the puzzle. For me, I do find the answers. He's helped me through depression and drinking. He's helped me in my relationship with others and a new way of looking at life. His ways have changed my idea of what in my life works and what does not. And the Christmas season is a time to reflect upon this, to reflect on what we've been seeking and some of the answers he's given us. He tells his disciples, when speaking to others and they do not hear you, wipe their dust from your feet. In other words, don't carry their negative with you. You're not required to carry anyone's baggage just because they place it in front of you. There's a term I use that I love, not my circus, not my monkeys. It means you don't have to adopt it all. And we all tend to pick up another's problems or guilt and carry it much further than we need to. And sometimes we don't even need to lift their baggage at all. But we suspend what we think is the best for ourselves because someone else tells, oh, you need to do this for me, or this is the way you should react. You don't have to let go of your own personal logic, your personal common sense. You know what works for you and what doesn't. And if you're carrying someone else's burden, let it go. Although it may be well-intentioned, you are allowed to wipe the dust from your feet. Jesus talks a lot about helping others and loving others. And I mentioned this in the beginning, not only because it's the right thing to do, but because When we do it, it's the first step in helping in depression and our insecurities. Don't be a doormat, but be helpful. We each seek some sort of enlightenment, and we want to feel that we're in the flow of it all. Folks, when you are helping another, caring for someone else, you're in a moment of compassion and sympathy and action that requires you to be in the moment. He does not want to do the work for others. He tells people to stop missing their mark, but he expects each person to do the things that will bring their life to their that will bring life into their best, to be their best self. He never tells anyone what that looks like. He knows each person knows. And this is important because this has individuality built into it. A seeker is generally an individual concept. It's I'm not your seeker, you can't be mine. Being a seeker has an individuality to it as well. You also notice there's no description of Jesus in the Bible. We all have images that the past generations have presented us to, like that Kenny Loggins version up there hanging on the wall. But Jesus, what we know about him, Jesus looks like Jesus. But the Christ looks like each one of us because we are our own Christ. Christ is a title or a way of being, a way that we try to attain. So when you think of the image of the Christ, think of yourself to your highest nature. He uses the term, I and the Father are one. And he uses this line with our Father, meaning we're connected to God in the same way that he is. And this, again, is powerful stuff. This is my son, and I am well pleased. We are all children of God, and God is well pleased. We are of that which created us, simply just by our existence. God is well pleased. This is dramatic, but it's not God, a man. It's God that is source of all, that thing that created us. We are the only begotten Son. Do not get caught up in the masculine and feminine terms because you can miss the message. We are each loved by that which created us. There can be no other way. By having freedom of choice, we became the only begotten son or daughter or children of Christ. And you are no less loved by God than Jesus. He is no more perfect than you, just that he understands this better than us. He lives at a heightened standard, but he expects us to try as well. Hence, when he says, you will do the things I do and greater, he could not utter these words if his standard was unattainable. I mentioned enlightenment, that elusive, mystical thing that we all try to attain. And it seems that few do. We have that image of someone sitting in the lotus position under the tree, maybe their palms up, fingers circled, and we're all one with that, all one with all that is. What a load of crud. How many people after they're 50 years old can sit like that? My knees would ache. I'd spend the whole time meditating thinking, oh God, this hurts. That would be my only connection with God in that moment. And then it would take me another painful hour to untie my legs and stand up, probably staggering around thinking about how bad my knees hurt and telling me, you're too old to sit like that. We're in the flow, we're in enlightenment when we're using our personal gifts to its highest nature, when we're firing on all cylinders. It's not reserved for the most spiritual, the most in tune. When people act like that, to me, that's a metaphysical mistake, metaphysical malpractice. When you pray, you're close to a sense of enlightenment. You're communicating with God, nature, source, oneness. But when you are being you, you're also enlightened. When you're in the zone and you feel it. You ever watch an athlete just take over a game and you know they have it? We used to have that all the time here before Benedict Brady left. I'm still bitter. But people do this in their daily lives all the time. You just come up with a way to solve a problem. I remember perhaps when I was 12 years old, I got home from school, my mother's car was in the yard. It had broken down. and I knew she didn't have the money to get it fixed. I had never worked on a car before, but something told me that I could fix it, and I figured it out, and I took apart, rebuilt the starter, and got it running before she got home. That was in the zone. That was being enlightened because I was using the gifts that God had given to me. Each time Jesus alludes to go inside and use what you know first, this is what he's talking about. Stop denying what we know and asking other people. Go inside first. He chose Peter because Peter had the ability to row a boat. He asked him to use what he knew. He expects this from each one of us. Maybe you're a heck of a cook. You know what and why things go together and why they taste good. Every time you create, you are enlightened. Maybe you're driving home and the road is blocked and all of a sudden it clicks. Oh, if I go this way and that way, I'll be around the whole thing. It's an enlightened moment. It's you being the best you in each moment, being the best version of you. It's not some kind of vague mystical concept. When you're in touch with all that's around you, to be the best you, to make the best use of yourself, to respect the world, to respect yourself, you're being enlightened. You're living in an enlightened moment. It's not just about thinking of it. We must do the work. Jesus could easily have just sat around and thought about his ideas, thought about hypocrisy, and thought about those in need and pondered what it meant to be in the flow. Many people probably did, but because he took action, he did the work. 2,000 years later, he is still an example for us to follow. You know, did he know this was the concept of him when he was born, or this is what he grew up? I don't know. But that time in his life, his birth represents the birth of the man that so many turn to. All that he became began in those moments. A path for seekers to turn to became flesh here. The man who said, "Love thy neighbor," was born from love and began bathed in love. The story of his birth is the epicenter of his love mission. There's tenderness there. There's people showing up with hope and gifts, and there's a feeling of contentment. How many picture Mary without feeling contentment and compassion and empathy? It's beautiful stuff, and we get to touch it, and we're seeking this. And maybe for 1 month out of the year, we attain what we're seeking when we see Jesus in this life, in this light, in this tender moment. And then we get to step out of our own life, and maybe we get to consider someone else's life and what they're going through and someone else's emotions. This is heightened living. It's the highest vibration. This is all we see as good when it becomes an example to us. All that in infant form. And we get to be part of that growth every year, and we do it on a yearly cycle. This time of year, you get to see the highest vibration on display all across the world. I'm not a big fan of turning on the news. However, this time of the year, the news is sprinkled with stories of average people like you. Well, we're a bit above average, but people are giving of themselves. They do toy drives and food drives. Little gifts of lifting each other up. You know, we get to see this in action. It's active and it's loud this time of year. All these people are seeking that feeling to being connected to others, to a life outside ourselves, to a life joined in compassion and empathy and love for each other. You know, when I was lost, I didn't know what I was seeking. And I think that's the case for many. You know, the way I was feeling about myself and the world was not pretty. But the steps were always there to take. And we all have those steps. I walked into a unity and I found a church where a whole group of people thought like me. And in a sense, they had questions and they were seeking answers. And I found a new way to look at this infant. And my first service that I walked into was a Christmas service. And after that, I volunteered at the church in any way possible. Reverend Diane jokes that she just couldn't get rid of me. But it's true. I hung decorations. I helped with the sound system. I painted the whole building, exterior of the building, both churches. I repaired anything that broke. I figured I could eventually become the handyman for the church. God had bigger plans than what I had. And when you set a plan in motion, things line up, and you get to start taking the steps on your path, and you realize that you are seeking something. Jesus' path was laid out from birth. And this time of year, we look at the journey with tenderness. We help others, and we help ourselves. And we remember if that tiny baby in the middle of nowhere can change the world, we can simply take a couple steps to change our own life. Thank you. I'll step away and we'll do the meditation.
What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping? When angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping. This is Christ the King, who shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him on, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh, the risen King to honor. The Kings of Kings salvation brings, let loving hearts enthrone him. Raise, raise the sin on high, the Virgin sings her lullaby. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Meditation. It's kind of one that I do. I do the meditation. It's a new format today. We're just experimenting. Again, I'm going to do reading from the World Prayers of Peace from all the major religions. Told you a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine that I met in Anderson, Indiana, named Annie Maddox, put together this book along with her artwork. She doesn't do any art unless she finds it has some kind of social impact. And I just love this whole book. I'm going to ask everyone to take a deep breath and to begin to develop their comfortable breathing pattern. We come together knowing that there is only one presence and power in our lives and in the universe. God the good and great omnipresence. This first one is a Buddhist prayer for peace. May all beings everywhere plagued with suffering of body and mind quickly be freed from their illness. May those frightened cease to be afraid, and may those bound be free. May the powerless find power, and may people think of befriending one another. May those who find themselves in trackless, fearful wilderness, the children, the aged, and protected, be guarded by beneficial and celestial, and may they quickly attain Buddhahood. And the Shinto prayer for peace. Although the people living across the ocean surrounding us, I believe, are all our brothers and sisters. Why are there constant troubles in this world? Why do winds and waves rise in the ocean surrounding us? I only earnestly wish that the wind will soon puff away all the clouds which are hanging over the tops of the mountains. At the center of a hurricane is the eye, where we're all still and silent. When we cease our activities and quiet our minds and go within, we find the eye of our being. Here at the center of non-activity and non-thought is peace. And invite you back to me. We'll do our prayer for peace for others. At any given moment, at any time of day, any place in the world, there are people fighting a brave battle to be strong. Some of those battles may be known to us, some not known to us. Some are on a local scale, some on a national scale, some on a worldwide scale. Maybe it's our earth fighting to maintain. Maybe it's someone down the road trying to maintain. If there's anyone in your life who needs prayer, I urge you to bring them to the forefront of your mind, to hold them close, If you have that type of connection with them, I urge you to reach out and just say hi. Tell them you're thinking of them. The fastest way to make a prayer land is to actually deliver it right to their doorstep. Hey, how are you? I'm thinking about you. If you can tell them you love them, tell them you love them. And if you don't have that type of relationship, again, just hold them in the forefront of your heart and your mind and bring them into your prayer and into your meditation. Prayer lands. I know this is true because I've seen it work for me. So for all those that we were thinking of, including our worldwide leaders, our national leaders, our friends, our relatives, people we've met and people we may never meet. We affirm their health, their strength, their wholeness, their ability to take the next step in their life, their ability to face fear with confidence, knowing that there are other people who care for them in the world. We offer the world our love. We are the drop that becomes the ripple. And so it is. Amen. I'll do the collections.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as he shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you go down in history.
Awesome. Join me for the prayer of tithes and offerings. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive, and so it is. Amen. And I'm cheating. I'm still getting it wrong. We'll end this on the prayer of protection, then join us for the peace song. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and we are richly blessed. Thank you.